Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast right here for the 25th of November 2015. How y'all doing? Are you good? No, seriously, are you good? I'm asking. Three things have occurred to me in the last 24 hours. One, the nation is totally turned upside down because of political correctness. And that's just an overview of what I see, and you can add all kinds of stuff to that. We have an enemy created by the military-industrial complex of the United States of America called ISIS, ISIL, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Mujahideen, go back to the 1970s for that one, to do one thing and one thing only: to upset the geopolitical playing field and to create or be a part of the creation for a global empire created by the United States of America. The third thing is we have threats from all sides, not only politically, but we have threats from all sides from several separatist groups in the U.S. So when I say several, I'm talking more than 100,000 people. And the northern border into Canada is a sieve of just, it's broken down basically. Unless you have a passport, you can get back and forth between the U.S. and Canada. But the Mexican border, south border, is completely broken. I mean, there is no, there's nothing stopping anyone from crossing that border. And Obama has told the Border Patrol just to let everybody in. The military, or some people from I believe it's the Justice Department or the Department of, whatever it is, it's some group down there is forcing the Border Patrol to stop, doing their job. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we have some challenges coming up. That means we have certain things that are going to happen that, to me, from my perspective, from what I've seen, we've got some things that are going to happen that's going to cause a great deal of problems in the United States. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be a challenge that we're not going to be able to meet and succeed. And I mean, we will. We are a resilient country, and we're going to do whatever we can to make things better. We've done it before. We can do it again. But we have a challenge, and that challenge is from Washington, D.C. We have a president with his hand on the button, metaphorically speaking. He's got the military backing him up, or the ones that are backing him up, following the orders of the New World Order. And that's the challenge. The vast majority of the people and the military are going to stand with the people. And that's law enforcement and military. And guess what? We're going to stand with them. So the challenges are ahead, and the things are about ready to, well, let's just say the fuse has been lit. It's now time for us to do what we need to do. AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. I'll be back right after this. The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. What we see is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. The only choice for all your independent hits on the internet. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to RadioRockTheBlitz.blogspot.com.
There are evil men in the world who are positioning themselves to take over certain countries and enslave the population. With their vain philosophies and illogical outlooks, these men will push for control and set themselves up as powerful leaders, but they will not survive and neither will their countries. The hearts of these men are beating at a very rapid pace, and they are filled with anxiety and fear, for as one leader falls, another takes their place. Each are fearful of the other, because they do not know when they should take defensive positions. Many of the corporate minions in Washington, D.C. are just pawns in this global chess game. It's all political theater and the script has already been written. It is now time for the general public to wake up to the fact that this whole political system is rigged. The facts are that we live in the United States of America Incorporated. Freedom has a price and the general public, who believes they are free, are being deceived into believing they have a choice. There is no choice. All of the political leaders are selected, not elected. There is no such thing as democracy or a republic. Those ideals ended in 1871.
Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. How are ya? AmericanLibertyRadio.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address. Wayne S. Pierce is my personal website. There's a GoFundMe link there if you want to support the American Liberty Radio Network in that way. You can also go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com and go to the store and, well, hey, there's some stuff to check out there too as well. So there you go. Any way to support independent and alternative media, well, hey, please do. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. A little bit of coffee here, folks. Now, what do we got? We got challenges ahead of us. And because of most of the people in the United States of America, I know for a fact that we are resilient. There is no, oh, we're kind of resilient, or we've done this in the past, or whatever it is. I mean, we are a resilient people. There's no question about that. We are resilient. We have overcome many, many challenges that have faced us over the 239 years we've been in existence as a country. Now, of course, prior to that, anywhere between 150 to 200 years prior to that, the continent had people on it, and they were resilient, and they grew, and they, managed to survive. And just to change your belief in history, it wasn't Columbus who discovered America. Christopher Columbus discovered Puerto Rico. It was Amerigo Vespucci, I believe it was. I'd have to check that again. That discovered this continent. But when you go back prior to that, the Vikings were here. And if you go prior to that, there was a lot of other people that were here, but not in the degree or volume that there was in the 1700s. Now, when you look at at a country that is on the brink of collapse from severe ignorance, you will find that the leaders are preying upon the people's ignorance. And this is what's happening in the United States. We, the people, have grown from a pretty much a ragtag bunch of people to create a country, or to force a proclamation into the political arena back in these mid to late 1700s, which created the flow of thought from many of those leaders that we had back then prior to 1776 to say, hey, this is what we want. Well, for many, many years, decades in fact, there were ambassadors from this country going to England, going to Europe, and laying it out to the king, saying, these people are wanting freedom and liberty. They don't want to follow you anymore, and they don't want to deal with the British Commonwealth anymore. They want to separate themselves and have their own country. This went on for decades, the discussions between these so-called leaders and the King of England. Excuse me. And so anyway, they had spokesmen for them, the colonists that were here in what we know as New England. And they literally took a step forward and said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And so for many years, for decades, they spoke and discussed and negotiated and all of that. When I believe it was 1773, 74, the King of England just went, you know what, screw this. And he sent British troops over to take the guns away from the people in this continent at the time. And, well, as you remember from your history class, that didn't go over too well, did it? So we have a situation in this country now which literally is, we're on the brink of another revolution. And it's not from the King of England. It's not, or the Queen of England. It's not from any foreign tyrant overseeing the new continent. No, it's from our own federal centralized government called Washington, D.C., the corporatized government that we have. Go look back at the Act of 1871. It corporatized everything. It caused a great deal of problems at that time, but they manipulated President Ulysses S. Grant into signing that into law. They pressured him. Now, if you don't remember, Ulysses S. Grant was at the surrender of Robert E. Lee and went from there, and he was reluctant to be president. Everybody wanted him to be president. He's like, no, I don't want to do this. But he finally gave in reluctantly, and literally was at that time, from all the things that I had found out, was, and I could be wrong in this, he was one of many who was corrupt in the sense that he, didn't follow the people's will. And when you're a president of the United States, you follow the people's will. The people run you. The people pay you to be their leader and pay Congress to be, the leaders and spokespeople for your state. But that's not how it's working anymore. We live in a dictatorship, a pseudo-dictatorship, I should say, because this country hasn't collapsed yet. We are measurably on the brink of complete and total collapse. And I would say by I would say by the inauguration of the next so-called corporate CEO of Washington, D.C., which you and I know as President of the United States, we're not going to have the United States of America anymore. It's not going to be what it is. And I really, really have this gut feeling that it's going to be sooner than that. But I could be wrong, and hopefully I am. But, and then I'll re-examine some of the stuff and say, okay, why was my gut feeling saying this, but it didn't turn out that way? And the fact of the matter is that we really have to zero in on the problems. We have to zero in on number one, what causes the problem. And number two, we have to zero in on the solution. Well, we already know the cause. Now we just have to solve the problem. And many, many things have to play a role in solving that problem. Number one, we the people. Number two, demands of abolishing several areas of our centralized government to give it back to the people. That's two possible solutions. And there's a whole bunch. And some say we cannot take up arms against the federal government because that would be, they have bigger weapons than we do. And well, granted, yes, they do. But we're in the streets and we know what's going on, except for, the fact that the military has mock cities on their bases, and they, like Fort A.P. Hill, and they go through urban, suburban, city, what do they call those? Well, they go through drills, basically. They go through scenarios. That's what I'm looking for, of what would happen if, a total collapse happens. Where are we going? What are we doing? And they do this every single day. They go through these war games every single day. So what are we doing on the streets? We're doing nothing but going to work, watching Dancing with the Stars, whatever. We don't really care because we've depended upon our government to just take care of what we got to take care of. Now, the United States government is against us. The United States government is against the United States citizens because of the leaders that we have in Washington, D.C. Oh, and let me fill you in on something. None of the candidates really give a crap about you. They're just playing out their role in this political theater. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're for Cruz or Trump or Hillary or any. It doesn't matter. Your votes don't count. The Congress is the board of directors, and the board of directors votes on basically what strategies this corporation of the United States of America is going to have, and it is the owners of the companies, the owners of Washington, D.C., that are going to tell you who's going to be the next president. It has nothing to do with us. That's just the way it is. So anyway, I'm going to go to break here. Take a little time, and I'm going to go to break. So you can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com for more information. You can go to WayneSPierce.com to go click on the GoFundMe site to support the network. If you have any questions, please ask. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's that simple, folks. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. I shall return right after this. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. This is not reality. This is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com and email us at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. When the coffee is done, sit down and have a cup and listen to the best independent music station on the web. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Tom Slick delivers all the independent hits and talks about new music from all of your favorite artists. Listen to Tom Slick on The Morning Brew, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, only on Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. For more information, go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. The reality underneath the honesty. Listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio. Go to livetruthradio.com for more information. Hello, folks. Hey, welcome back. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website, if you're not already there. If you want to email me, it's AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Check it out. What can we say, folks? I don't know. Short segment here, and I'll I don't know. I mean, there's just, there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and I think that we need to start paying more attention to, not ignore our families, not ignore our work, don't ignore that. You have to survive, okay? But we have to pay more attention to what's going on in our own cities and our own city councils and our own county board of supervisors and start paying attention to that, because more and more cities, specifically in California, are falling under the Agenda 21, United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development Policies, which is total communism. I mean, look at it, read it, go to look it up, Agenda 21 Sustainable Development. You'll find it. You'll find both good and bad. I mean, obviously, but, you'll find the lies and the deceits and all of that from the people that say, oh, it's not that bad. You'll see all that. You'll see the spin on it. So check it out. American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. White House now preparing for apocalyptic EMP blast that could end human civilization. EMP, electromagnetic pulse. White House is now preparing for apocalyptic EMP blast. That's from naturalnews.com. I'm going to say this. I don't care what you think about naturalnews.com. I don't care about the negative people who want to ignore the obvious. I don't care. I mean, you can just go away, go stick your head in the sand. I really don't care. I don't care about your opinion. I don't. You people who look at me and people like me, Alex Jones, Michael Savage, Mark Levin, when you look at people like us and you say, you don't know what you're talking about. This is all, it's not the way you think. And here's what I hear. There's not a conspiracy around every corner. That's because you're not paying attention. Okay. What did I say earlier? Pay attention to what's going on around in your city council, your board of supervisors. Look at it. If you can't see it for yourself, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. White House now preparing for apocalyptic EMP blast that could end human civilization. L.J. Devin is a staff writer at naturalnews.com. Space weather scientists are shouting out and warning the world like never before. Earth has never been this susceptible to an electromagnetic pulse, if I can say the word. that could blast from the heavens above and end human civilization as we know it. The apocalyptic news even has the White House prepping. The federal government of the United States recently announced preparations to protect against a possible EMP blast. The repercussions of the devastating solar flares would be catastrophic, taking out energy grids for months, rendering cell phones, electronic payment, and internet communications useless. The fragile $2.6 trillion economy would dissolve, and everything would go dark as the desperate, unprepared masses fall into panic. As GPS systems shut down, people will be clueless about their location, looking around, dumbfounded and afraid. GPS-dependent oil drilling would come to a halt. Train networks would stop transport. As high-frequency radio communication went out, aviation would become null and void. Okay. That's on the American Liberty Radio Network Facebook page. Lots more, folks. Somebody here wrote from National Liberty Federation, so far everything he's said can be confirmed. Remember, Trump is not a politician. He's an upfront businessman. The lies come out of Washington via the current administration. Somebody wrote, I live in Jersey, and Trump is right. Muslims did celebrate on 9/11 in New Jersey. We saw it. Now, as you remember, on 9/11, when you look, the mainstream media didn't show you this, but other people with their own video cameras and their cell phones and all this were showing the Muslims of that time in New York and the surrounding areas celebrating the fact that these buildings came down. When you saw everybody else grieving and running and trying to take care of what they had to take care of. I'm not saying Muslims did it, because it was an inside job when all the evidence points to the fact that it was an inside job. But because of certain behind-the-scenes wrangling, this took 8 years to prepare and to implement. So they had a lot of time to get this together, okay? They had a lot of time to get this together. Remember 1993 when the truck bomb blew up in World Trade Center 2? I think it was 2. Remember? In the garage underneath? Remember that one? And it was all set up by the FBI and all this to gauge what people would do. That's all that was. And of course, 8 years later, we have the 9/11 happened. So I don't want to hear it anymore, folks. 9/11 inside job. Our government did it, period. Done. I don't give a crap what people have told me in the last 15 years. It has happened. It's an inside job. That's it. Now, a lot of people will prove it. You got to just shut up and prove it. No, you have to look at the evidence. Dr. Judy Wood has some very, very compelling evidence. So go to drjudywood.com and check that out as well. But look at the information. If you don't like the truth, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like the facts, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't agree with me, I don't really care. But if you're going to criticize me for the things I say, you better bring your information to the table of debate and we'll talk about it. If you got the guts and the balls to do that. If not, go stick your head in the sand. Oh, and by the way, you stick your head in the sand, guess what's going to be sticking up out of the sand? Yeah, so think about that one. Got to go to a break. It's the bottom of the hour, so I shall be back in shortly, so don't go away. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And I shall return right after this.
The Grand Adventure.
Yeah.
From the directorial debut of Brian James Griffo, two brothers faced with a rare genetic disease that causes blindness decide to take a journey of a lifetime and answer the question, what would you see if you knew you were going to go blind?
It honestly makes me feel so small and like whatever problems I have are nothing.
What would you do?
You're supposed to smell it first.
Who would you meet?
This is an opportunity for us to connect with people.
In a groundbreaking documentary that cuts to the heart of what it means to be a brother.
It blows my mind that 100 years ago, this is how people would have done this trip that we're doing.
Yep.
And gain a world of vision while losing eyesight. Come along to be inspired and reminded of the very meaning of life through a 12,000-mile road trip. Driving Blind. Coming soon.
Coming to America.
Hey, this is Frank Hannon. I want to tell you about an exciting brand new rock and roll album coming out this year by guitarist Greg Golden. Greg Golden's new album is some old school sounding rock and roll music that's sure to be a classic, featuring some killer songs, blazing guitar solos, and awesome lead vocals by Jeff Sandoval and Randy Scholes from Montrose. Take a listen to some of these songs on this album.
Old school rock and roll, got the music in my soul. Old school rock and roll, everybody gonna lose control. Maybe crazy, but I ain't no fool. I live my life by the golden rule from the old school. Yeah, of rock and roll. Woo!
Won't see it coming, but it's coming fast. That girl just does what she please, like a bad winner, baby. Cool on in and take you down. A bad winner, baby. No safe haven where she's found. Turn on the radio. Just time to make the show. Get on your dancing shoes. They're getting rave reviews. No other place to go. We're going back to Reno. Burning hearts, tears, and flames in the rain. Burning hearts, tears, and flames in the rain.
Be sure to check out the new Greg Golden album coming out on Red Hawk Records this year. www.greggoldenband.com.
Your home for all the independent music hits from around the world. Information about books and movies from independent authors and filmmakers. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Listen to Tom Slick on The Morning Brew, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 8. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Hey folks, welcome back. Short segment here. Oh my God. Yeah, what can I say? Go to American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. Check out all the articles I got sitting up there. Syrian Girl, World War III. Turkey shoots down Russian jet and Russia must retaliate. And Syrian girl gives her analysis of that. Also from a YouTube video, why did they pass a law that make staged hoaxes and crisis acted movies legal? I know that's kind of confusing. Why did they pass a law that makes staged hoaxes and crisis acted movies legal? Yeah, go check that out. Also, I talked about this on my last podcast. The fictitious disease, that's in quotes, called ADHD, the ADHD scam and the mass drugging of school children. I discussed that a little bit yesterday. But there's so much, folks. There's so much that we have to really take a look at that I don't know. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. Okay. When I get back from the break coming up here, what was just found heading to America could have killed hundreds. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I'll discuss that, let you know what that's all about. Also, there's a meme, there's a picture on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook from Maine Washed Photo. Shows this is an empty, now get this is an empty tent city in Saudi Arabia. It has power, plumbing, air conditioning. It could comfortably house 3 million refugees right now. And before you lecture me on refugees, lecture their neighbors. Okay. So think about that one. And also, how's this for a scary situation? Iran debuts Serena 3, its new and improved humanoid robot. That is so important. I'm going to read that when I get back from the break. That's from robotics.news. So go check that one out as well. It's on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I really don't. We have a problem in this country, and I think the problem stems from just complete and utter arrogance and ignorance all at the same time. Arrogance that we think that everything's just fine, or not we. I know everything's not fine, so other people think that everything's just fine, so they're arrogant to think that it is, but they're also ignorant to the fact that it's not. Okay, and they don't really care. So I'm speaking to those who want to hear my voice, who want to hear about liberty and freedom, who want to hear about what's going on behind the scenes, who's controlling what, who's pulling the puppet strings, whose puppet is being pulled, that kind of thing. So, I'm here for you folks. For the other people that listen to me and go, he's full of crap, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Well, let me tell you something. My message before the break to those people is this. Bite me. I don't give a crap what you have to say. At all. Ever. And if you want to get up in my face and start shoving your negative, contradictive crap on my table of debate, you can just pick that crap up and get the hell out. Okay? That's just the way it is, because I haven't studied most of this for years and years and years to have you come along and say I'm wrong, because I'm not, and I know it. And you know it too when you really dig deep down in your heart and, understand it. So anyway, that's my message to those folks. I'm going to continue to talk to the people that want to listen to me, that want to hear what's going on, that want to see what's going on. Go to American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook or AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Be right back right after this. Get prepared. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to ALR Network Survival Store at AmericanLibertyRadio.com and click on ALR Survival Store. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. The only service of this kind, offering you fast and easy access to the very best talent from around the world. Creating your own audio doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. Music Radio Creative is your source for all of your audio and production needs. That's Music Radio Creative. MusicRadioCreative.com. Hey folks, welcome back. The last segment of the podcast. How y'all doing? Yeah, let me know. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Please let me know. If you have any articles, anything that's happening around in your area, let me know. I don't care what country you're in. Send me that information. What's going on in your country? I want to find out. I want to share that with the rest of my listeners. And going back to previously before the break, what I said, it's not that I don't want to listen to anybody that's in opposition to me. It's that I'm not going to listen to anybody that doesn't supply information to me to let me know what their side of the argument is based upon. Okay? This is the whole, have you ever been in debate class? Because I've been one of those fortunate few that have walked into debate class with friends of mine when I was in high school and talked about a lot of the stuff that I'm talking to you now, dated, of course, back then when Reagan was in office and Carter and all of that, and literally have stymied the debate teacher, And they just looked at me like, my God, you're right. How did I not see this? But I was in high school when Carter was president. I graduated, and that year Reagan became president. I graduated in 80, and some of my friends were still in high school. And so I would go and, pick them up from school, or I'd see them after school or something. And, I'd be on school campus and I'd talk to the debate teacher and, speech and debate. And I'd stymie these people because I had information that they had absolutely no clue about. So I'd fill them in and educate them on what was going on. And they, even back then, thought that I, was a little, had too many Fruit Loops, if you know what I mean. So along with that, when you can identify, literally through the documents that you have, the basis for which your argument is what it is, why you argue your point, then fine, I'll sit down with you all day long. But if you're going to point fingers and call me a conspiracy theorist and call me a right-wing nut job and, a Limbaugh follower or an Alex Jones follower or whatever, I really don't care what you got to say. Okay? It's that simple. I really, that's like me walking up to you going, your shoes are untied, when they're not, and you've tied them, and I say, yeah, your shoes are untied. And I keep telling you that over and over, and it's finally, you get so pissed off, you like reach down, pull your pant leg up and go, see, my shoes aren't untied, shut up. You just proved yourself right on your side of the argument. Get the hint? Don't come to me and point fingers at me and tell me I'm wrong when you don't have anything to back it up with. I know I'm not wrong. I didn't spend 35 plus years researching all of this since Carter was president. to have you tell me that I'm full of bullcrap, because I'm not. So there you go. Well, talk about arrogance. Man, you sound really conceited and arrogant and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. I'm very confident in the fact that the information I have is, number one, reliable, number two, accurate, and I share it with you. And all I encourage you to do is go look it up. That's it. Simple, right? Yeah, it works. Works for me. But anyway, what else? Oh, yeah, robotics.news. Chris Draper. Thank you, Chris. 24th of November 2015. Iran debuts Serena 3, its new and improved humanoid robot. Iran, of all places, folks. Not Japan, not China, not Germany. Iran. Our enemy. Iranian researchers at the University of Tehran just debuted their most recent humanoid robot, dubbed Serena 3. During the demonstration, the adult-sized robot walked across the stage, mirrored a person's arm movement, stood on one foot, and bent backwards. That's just the tip of the iceberg, however. The robot can also interact with people using voice recognition and speech modules. In addition, it can recognize a person's face and imitate human gestures. Serena is the third version of a humanoid robot that has been under development for 8 years. Serena 3 clocks in at 216 pounds and stands 6 foot 3 inches tall. It's stocked with multiple sensors, including the Kinect-based 3D vision module, and has joints powered by 31 servo motors. Limited yet advanced. Serena 3 is limited in comparison to some of the world's most advanced robotic humanoids. Honda's Asimo is, for instance, can hop on one foot and climb a vertical ladder. Other humanoids are capable of driving, using power tools, and walking over a pile of bricks. Despite its limitations, progress has been made while designing Serena in the past 7 years. The first version of the robot, Serena 1, was released in 2008 and had a mere 8 degrees of freedom. The second version of the robot, Serena 2, was released in 2010, had 22 degrees of freedom, and could walk at a pace of 0.03 meters per second. Serena 3, by contrast, has 33 degrees of freedom and can walk 10 times faster than its predecessor. Quote, a speech system can recognize some predefined sentences in Persian, encoders embedded on all joints, 6-axis force torque sensors on the ankles, and an IMU on the torso help the robot remain stable. To power Serena's hips and legs, the researchers used a combination of Maxon brushless DC motors, harmonic drives, and timing belt pulley systems. The upper body uses robotics Dynamixel EX and MX servos, unquote, explained Eriko Guzzo, is that what it is? In an article for IEEE Spectrum. Just to let you know some of the tech aspects of it. That's on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. Also, emails. This is from dailycaller.com. Emails, CNN reporter coordinated with Hillary aide to smear Rand Paul during 2013 Benghazi hearings. So there you go. Check that one out as well. I got a lot of stuff up there. Again, the White House now preparing for apocalyptic EMP blast that could end human civilization. Also, this is from my own personal Facebook page. So let's go over to, as soon as I go there, I'll let you know. American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Or actually, I didn't get to this. I wanted to, but I didn't quite get to it. As soon as the article comes up, I'll let you know. From GOPDailyDose.com, CIA officer Claire Lopez, Obama is a Muslim terrorist with Brotherhood ties to take down the USA. I think I did talk about that yesterday. As a matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I sure did. I want to ask a question. Oh, here's something else I just saw that I didn't see yesterday. Conservative Tribune. Trump makes shock claim about Obama and Syrian refugees. So that's on there as well. Let me click that and put that at the top of the American Liberty Radio Network Facebook page. And I have a question, and the question is real simple, and it doesn't really require putting on your thinking cap, but it does require you to think on a very basic level. If you see something wrong, why is it you are doing nothing about it? For instance, our vets are getting shafted by this government. Why aren't you doing anything about it? There's that article. Trump makes shock claim about Obama and Syrian refugees. It's on the top of the list on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook. Why aren't you doing anything about our vets? Why aren't you doing anything to help them? Why? And if you are, I applaud you. But why aren't people doing so? In other words, if you know that down your block you have a Vietnam vet or Gulf War vet, or this a vet from the current debacle that we're currently in, if you know that they're struggling, why aren't you helping them? Okay, why haven't you put forth the effort to help these people out? Now, granted, I know you may be thinking, well, geez, they were in another country not fighting for me, but fighting for the other people, fighting for the corporation. I say that because those wars were all corporate funded to do one thing and one thing only. Okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. We were and still are the occupiers of the world. We go around occupying all these other countries in whatever manner we think we are. And then we have vets coming back from Afghanistan, Iraq, and all that. And they're hurting. And what are you doing? What are you doing? What is your... How have you helped these people reacclimate themselves to a non-violent, non-combative situation? Have you helped them lessen their anxiety? Have you helped them lessen their problems that they're having? I don't care what country you're in, your people go to war and go fight the enemy, and they come back with some serious problems. Not only, I mean, if they don't have any, psychological problems that you can tell, because you're probably not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but they may have some financial problems. They may have some personal problems. And if you consider them, your countrymen, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to help them? Okay? I mean, that whole thing is... They need help. They need help. There's a video on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook that I put up. It's from John Goltaire. from, well, it's his video. It's not that long. And let me read this. You need to go see the video. I've only got like a few minutes here. After watching this video, you tell me if you think Obama is one of us. I dare you. The timeline of Obama's selection as president to represent his masters as president of America. Please comment after viewing. So there's a video there. Let me put that at the top of the American Liberty Radio Network page, as well as on the main feed. You tell me. You just need to understand that this guy is not who he says he is. Okay? That's just the way it is. He's not who he says he is. All right? I look at things a little bit differently than most people. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but let me just point something out. If you're sitting there saying, well, I'm not going to believe it unless I see it, hey, good for you. I hope you see it at some point. I say I see because I believe. And there's a whole plethora of things I've done to get to that point, believe me. But I can also look at the people who, point fingers at me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking. I also look at those people and understand where they're coming from. Okay? Because, you don't know, you don't know. How can you know anything if you're not willing to go out and look for it? If you're not willing to accept the fact that it is what it is, how can you accept and believe that it is what it is if you don't go out and see it? I'm totally, understanding of that particular perspective. But then once you get that understanding, I would hope that everything else after that just falls right into place. And that's what happened to me. Everything fell into place. Everything had its moment. Everything there was there, and I researched it and I investigated it, and I went, yeah. And the only reason why I research and investigate is to verify the things I already know. And I also go back and I look at the information that I had 25, 30 years ago, and yeah, it verifies everything that's happening today. So I don't, when I say I know what I know, I mean, that's just exactly it. I'm not going to sit there and have somebody tell me, well, you're wrong, and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Go away. If you're not willing to put your information on the table of debate and we'll discuss it and I'll look at what you have, not in an angry way of trying to prove anything. I just want to see what you got. So let's discuss what you have. Here, take what I have and discuss it. Let's look at it. Mama didn't raise no fool and Grandma taught me better. And my dad and my brother taught me how to stick up for myself. So, you tell me. All right? You got to prove yourself right. If you think that you're right about something, prove it. Prove it to yourself. You don't have to prove it to me, or anybody else for that matter. Prove it to yourself. And then, if it's important enough to share with other people, go ahead. Hey, I got to get out of here, folks. Jeez, I got things to do today. What about you? Go out. Defend your freedom and liberty. Go out and do what you have to stand up for what you believe, because, it's not America if you don't believe in America. It's not America if you don't believe in yourself or what you stand for and what America stands for and has stood for 239 years. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com and email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And ladies and gentlemen, I will talk to you later.